hello. It's a miracle of the age being able to pick up the phone and talk to somebody on the other side of the world. But although this needs some very sophisticated electronics connecting the phone together, the telephone itself has remained quite a simple gadget. It's really just a set of push buttons, a couple of switches, a bit of electronics inside, a bell or a buzzer of some sort, and of course the handset. Well, I'll take the microphone out and give it to Rex. The microphone and the earpiece are remarkably similar to those on the very first telephone invented over 100 years ago. If I connect up the earpiece at this end and Rex connects up the microphone at the other end, I should be able to hear him.
Hello, can you hear me, Tim?
Yes, I can. It works very well. This is too faint to work over long distances, but the remarkable thing is that there's no battery in this circuit. It's just the microphone at one end and the earpiece at the other. In this programme, I'm going to look at how the telephone evolved from simple devices like this to become the elaborate international system it is today.
Hello, Tim. Can you hear me?
It had been discovered in 1820 that any wire carrying electricity becomes slightly magnetic. The effect was called electromagnetism. Wrapping the wire round in a coil greatly increases the effect. The extraordinary thing is that until 25 years ago, most of the telephone system was worked by devices based on this simple effect. Aged 25, Bell himself started teaching speech therapy in Boston. At the same time, he came up with his idea of a harmonic telegraph. Recruiting a man from the local ironmonger shop called Watson, he experimented, sending several messages simultaneously at different tones, but nothing would make it work.
Oh, doesn't it work?
On June the 2nd, 1875, though, he suddenly realised it could be modified to transmit speech. Bell described what he'd done as transmitting voice-shaped currents. Instead of the electromagnet just being on or off, he was using it to vibrate a diaphragm and produce sounds. If Rex now connects the electromagnet to my record player, and we use the bass drum skin as the diaphragm, you should be able to hear something. The magnet's vibrating the skin, and this is moving the air, reproducing the original sound. This is one of Bell's original telephones. You can see exactly the same arrangement with the diaphragm here and the electromagnet. You listen in through the bottom here. This is a modern telephone earpiece, and you can see this has a metal diaphragm and the electromagnet is embedded in plastic down the bottom. The principle is exactly the same. Bell's patents made him a very rich man, and he built an enormous mansion in Nova Scotia. Bell used the second receiver as his microphone. It works exactly in reverse. When you speak near it, the diaphragm vibrates and creates a tiny electric current in the electromagnet. I can show you this with a loudspeaker. A loudspeaker is just a larger version of the same thing, really, with a paper cone as a diaphragm and an electromagnet underneath. I've connected it to a meter here, and when I move the diaphragm, the meter raises the current. Well, now if I connect it to the second speaker, when I vibrate one speaker, the other one vibrates too. This is how Rex was managing to talk to me at the beginning of the programme. But it's not a very efficient process, this is why Rex's voice was so faint. And without any electronics, Bell's idea was really much too faint to be of any practical use at all.